A pleasant good evening from the news center here at Freedom Communications Incorporated in Monrovia. A warm welcome to this Tuesday, September 28, 2021 presentation of Freedom News Basket. 45 minutes of the latest captivating news happenings in Liberia and elsewhere. My name is Jeff Jefferson, anchoring this edition of the news program. The big developments are following tonight. President George Weah authorizes loan repayment reprieve for red light marketeers, a continuation of his progressive policies intended to improve the well-being of marketeers and the entire citizenry. Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia releases findings on the National Suspect Report on Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing in Liberia. Independent National Commission the Human Rights reacts to Liberia's Solicitor General Councilor Serena Cephas claims that the Commission's recent press statement targeted officials of government. Elsewhere, World Health Organization started among 83 aid workers who allegedly abused women and girls sexually while tackling the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a report says. The details of these developments, the voices of the newsmakers, the news bulletins, sports, the foreign developments are packaged in this edition of Freedom News Basket. You can follow us live on that's online on www.freedomradioliberia.com and our Facebook feed on Freedom Radio Liberia. At this juncture, we will cross over to the news center where Esther Daku is seated to set the pace with the bulletin. A pleasant good evening, Esther.
Good evening, Jeff. Good evening, Liberia. President George Weah has authorized loan repayment reprieve for red light marketers who were relocated to the Omega market in the continuation of his progressive policies intended to provide the well-being of marketers and the entire citizenry. According to an executive release issued Tuesday, President Weah recently requested the Central Bank of Liberia to prevailed on commercial banks and lending organizations to give a period of reprieve for obligated marketers to recuperate from impacts of the relocation exercise. Subsequently, the Central Bank of Liberia granted a 3-month moratorium on loan repayments for all marketers recently affected by the relocation exercise from red light market, mandating commercial banks and other licensed financial institutions to reschedule their loan collection program for the designated months beginning October 1 to December 31st. The gesture by President Weah will ensure the burden posed by the apparent disruption in market activities by the movement of some merchants, rendering them unable to meet their loan obligations. The central bank has also given commercial banks and licensed microfinance institutions that have exposures to the relocated marketers 3 months dispensation on their regulatory classification and provision of the affected loan facilities. Meanwhile, the construction of additional structures and new pathways that began on the new market grounds some months ago is nearing completion. The Independent National Commission on Human Rights has reacted to the Friday, September 24 edition of the Independent newspaper's publication, in which the Commission was accused by Liberia's Solicitor General, Serena Cephas, of making statements in respect of the conduct of certain officials of government. Responding to the Solicitor General's statement Tuesday, the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, said the INCHR is an independent and non-political human rights institution with a mandate to protect and promote human rights throughout the country. According to him, the Commission, during its September 22nd press statement, drew government's attention to multiples of human rights issues and incidents affecting the lives of Liberian people. Councillor Brown said the commission spoke to the persistent and disappearance of mysterious deaths of peaceful citizens, including alleged ritualistic killing of vulnerable women and children. According to him, the Commission is acting within the confines of its official mandate to remind government to investigate occurrences or allegations in the context of state obligation as outlined in Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The INHCR had further reminded the Solicitor General that in fulfillment of its duty, it will not be deterred by falsehood and misstatements of facts and Harper countered claims geared at suggesting that the Commission is on a smart campaign to damage the reputation of government officials. At the same time, Councillor Dempster Brown reaffirmed the INCHR commitment to protect and promote the human rights of Liberians and residents throughout the 15 counties and to lift the image of the country by contributing to a human rights friendly environment where investment will bloom social and economic prosperity. The Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia has announced the completion of publication of the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. Speaking during the release of the report Tuesday in Congotown, FIU Director General Edwin Harris stated that the report is the first of its kind in Liberia and is poised to provide stakeholders on the risks of Liberia faces with money laundering and terroristic financing. He added that the major outcomes of the National Risk Assessment portray Liberia's money laundering risks as high in the financial sector and are designated non-financial business professionals. Director General Harris furthered that with the completion and publication of the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing, the FIU will launch an anti-money laundering policy strategic action plan on mitigating the risks relating to money laundering in Liberia. At the same time, the FIU has stated that as mandate under Recommendation 1 of the Financial Action Task Force, 300 copies of the National Risk Assessment Report will be distributed to all stakeholders and partners in October. According to Director Harris, the financial institutions and designated non-financial business professionals will be required to use the National Risk Assessment Report as a guide to mitigate the risks to money laundering in their respective sectors. The Liberia National Bar Association has condemned continuous wave of reported attacks, ritualistic killings, disappearances, and criminal acts in the country. The Association Secretary General Councillor Bobby Livingstone told our judiciary correspondent Tuesday that the association wants the WIA administration to move swiftly and step up security to guarantee the personal safety of citizens and residents. The LNBA Secretary General is requesting the government to provide unnecessary and adequate security for the protection of judges given the significance of their work. Councillor Livingstone warned that considering recent reports attacks on citizens, including judges without investigation and punitive action against corporates, incidents of violence, torture, and wanton killings may escalate and lead to insecurity across the country. Circuit courts have ended legal business for the August term as provided by law. The court's trial session, according to our judiciary correspondent, ended on Monday, September 27, when the 42 days of jury sitting came to end, consistent with Chapter 3, Section 3.82 of the Judiciary Law of Liberia. This means circuit courts are unable to hear criminal cases except for pre-trial motions during chamber session. As a result of this legal provision, Judge Usman Fekar was compelled to request for additional time from Chief Justice Francis Kokpor to allow him in an ongoing criminal case at Criminal Court C at the Temple of Justice. Our judiciary correspondent further revealed that the 6th Judiciary Circuit Court of Montserrado County, the Civil Law Court, and all specialized courts are excluded from the August term closure provision, which ended on Monday, September 27, 2021. A group under the banner Progressive Youth for Sustainable Development says its attention has been drawn to the mysterious death of young Liberians throughout the country. Speaking to Freedom News Tuesday, the executive director of the organization, Calvin Jala, said the organization condemned in the strongest manner the act of secret killings in the country. Jala said Liberia is a country built on Christian principle. As such, the country should be experiencing peace and stability based on the foundational principle the country was built upon. He is at the same time calling on the joint security to be vigilant in their engagements to protect citizens, adding that secret killings is unprecedented and should never be encouraged in the Liberian society. Kevin Jala further that the to achieve the sustainable development goals, citizens must work collectively to protect the peace being enjoyed throughout the country since the end of the 14 years of civil crisis. Reports from Harport in Maryland County says police are investigating circumstances surrounding the alleged sodomy of a 12-year-old boy. According to reports, the boy whose name was withheld was allegedly sodomized over the weekend by a businessman identified as Adebayo in the J. Lamarck's community. The victim's grandmother, Felicia Doe, who rushed him to the hospital upon noticing the situation, disclosed with regret that medics confirmed his anus was tampered with sexually. According to her, she discovered that her son was allegedly sexed in his anus when he removed his clothes to check him after receiving information from their peers in the community. Madame Doe said she quickly took her grandson to the accused shop, but he denied having intercourse with the minor. The victim's grandmother furthered that she is concerned about her grandson's health, but did not think of taking the case to the police station. The case was, however, reported to the police by a concerned resident who was among a huge crowd that gathered when the 12-year-old boy grandmother was explaining the situation to a close relative in the community. Freedom FM Maryland County correspondent has confirmed that the accused Adebayo is in police custody. Montserrat County District 2 Representative Jimmy Smith has pledged to provide scholarship to over 100 persons who desire to seek vocational training at the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School in the district. Representative Smith made the disclosure when he served as chief launcher of the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School launching program at St. Francis High School in Jacobtown, Painesville. Representative Smith revealed that every citizen residing in a district wishing to attend the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School would now pay only 20 United States dollars for 6 months intensive vocational training, adding that he will pay the remaining fees. At the same time, Representative Smith has vowed to continue identifying with residents in his district despite circumstances from detractors. Meanwhile, the founder of Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School Clarence Bundle has called on Liberians to take advantage of the opportunities at the institution. The Deputy Superintendent of the Liberia Marketing Association, Vonjama Central Market, Finak Wakai, has expressed frustration over the bad road condition leading from Zoso to Vonjaman. Speaking with Freedom News Tuesday, Madam Boyka said market women are undergoing difficulties due to the bad road network. According to her, market women are also losing their goods as a result of the road condition. She furthered that vehicle owners have increased transport fares, which is resulting to ordinary citizens feeling the hardship. She at the same time called on President George Weah to help the people of Lofa. Also, in a separate statement, two of the other marketers said due to the road condition, a cup of rice is sold for 100 Liberian dollars. Residents of Rock Crusher community on the Pipeline Road are reportedly living in fear based on a constant attack by unrest on the community in District 3, Montserrat County. According to the chairperson of the newly constituted WASH team, Daniel George, the decision was reached by residents due to recent attack by armed gang leaving one community dwellers wounded and making their way with several vulnerables. that's valuables. George further narrated that the list of members on the committee of the WASH team was approved by elders Nixon Dole and Samuel Jackson of Pipeline Community and submitted to Zone 9 depot on the Pipeline Road. Also speaking, one of the WASH team members, Nathan Kamara, added that the work of the WASH team was to buttress efforts of the Liberian National Police to help safeguard community residents of the pipeline and its environs. He is also appealing to Montserrat County District 3 representative and government to empower the WASH team. A Liberian businessman of Marquette Clan, Eddie Manning, says he do, he is doing everything in his reach to ensure that the clinic built by him is open to the public in rural Montserrat. According to Manning, over 2,000 residents of the clan are struggling to seek medication in Marquette and its environs and finding it difficult to do based on what they call lack of medical services in the area. He is meanwhile appealing to Montserrat County District Number 1 Representative Lawrence Morris and the Ministry of Health to help provide drugs at the clinic. Manning at the same time noted that Marquette clan has no leader to chair the affairs of the clan, describing it as serious setback residents in the area. When contacted, the Ministry of Internal Affairs confirmed the information that Foley Lewis has been placed on Internal Affairs payroll while he is not a clan chief. And World Health Organization staff, and that's the shift of the news bulletin, is back to you, Jeff.
Many thanks. Many thanks to Esther Daku for reading us the news bulletin. It is a regular feature on Freedom News Basket. Esther will return later with the foreign development. This is the Tuesday, September 28, 2021 presentation of Freedom News Basket. 45 minutes of the latest captivating news happenings in Liberia and elsewhere. Just a reminder of the top developments we're following tonight. President George Weah authorizes loan repayment reprieve for red light marketeers in continuation of his progressive policies intended to improve the well-being of marketeers and the entire citizenry. Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia released findings on National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. Independent National Commission on Human Rights reacts to Liberia's Solicitor General Serena Shifa's claims that the Commission's recent press statement targeted officials of government. Elsewhere, World Health Organization staff among 83 aid workers who abused women sexually and girls while tackling the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a report says. Let's now bring you the voices of those making the news. The Independent National Commission on Human Rights has reacted to the Friday, September 24 edition of the independent newspaper publication in which the commission was accused by Liberia's Solicitor General Councillor Serena Cephas of making statements in respect to the conduct of certain officials of government. Responding to the Solicitor General's statement Tuesday, the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, said the INCHR is an independent and non-political human rights institution with a mandate to protect and promote human rights throughout the country. According to Brown, the Commission, during its September 22 press statement, drew government attention to multiplicities of human rights issues and the incidents affecting the lives of the Liberian people, naming the persistent disappearances and mysterious deaths of peaceful citizens, including alleged ritualistic killing of vulnerable women and children.
The INCHR categorically clarifies that whereas its objective is not to interfere with the statutory mandate of other agencies of government, where state actors fail and or neglect to act to repeated allegations and or occurrences of mysterious disappearances, mysterious death, and abduction, all to the detriment of the inalienable rights of Liberian citizens and residents. This commission has a responsibility to act. The commission further reminds the Solicitor General that in fulfillment of its duty, it will not be deterred by inus falsehood, misstatement of facts, and counter-claim here are suggesting that the INCHR is on a smear campaign to damage the reputation of government. The Commission clarified its press statement of September 23, 2021 was informed, unambiguous, succinct, clear, precise, and in no way alluded to or impacted any individual in government or out of government. In closing, the INCHR affirms its mandate to protect and promote the human rights of Liberians and residents throughout the 15 counties of the Republic and to lift the image of the country by contributing to a human rights-friendly government environment where investment will bloom, social and economic prosperity will be fostered, civil and political rights will be maintained, and individuals can enjoy the inalienable human rights to which they are all entitled.
At the same time, the INCHR head maintained that the Commission is acting within the confines of its official mandate to remind government to investigate occurrences of allegations in the context of state obligation as outlined in Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Councillor Dempster Brown further reminded the Solicitor General that in fulfillment of its duty, it will not be deterred by falsehood and misstatement of facts and hyper-counter claims geared at suggesting that the Commission is on a smear campaign to damage the reputation of government officials. He also reaffirmed the IHCR commitment to protect and promote the human rights of Liberians and residents throughout the 15 counties and to lift the image of the country by contributing to human rights-friendly environment where investment will bloom social and economic prosperity.
The attention of the Independent National Human Rights Commission has been drawn to Volume 21, Number 7 edition of the Independent newspaper of Friday, September 24, 2021, in which the INCHR was accused by the Solicitor General, Councillor Serena Cephas, of making blatantly groundless and totally disgraceful statements in respect conduct. Responding to the Solicitor General, the INCHR firstly reminds that the INCHR is and remains an independent and non-political national human rights institution with a mandate to protect and promote human rights throughout the 15 county political subdivisions of Liberia. In the context of the specific allegation made, the INCHR refers to its press statement of Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021, in which its Honorable Chairman and statutory spokesman, Councillor T. Dempster Brown, drew the government attention to a multiplicity of human rights issues and incidents affecting the daily life. The INCHR spoke to the persistent disappearances, and mysterious deaths of peaceful citizens, including alleged racial killing, actually vulnerable women and children. This call by the INCHR was in fulfillment 2005 Act creating the Independent National Human Rights Commission, which states inter alia that the function of the commission are Article 4 to draw the attention of government to human rights violations in any part of the country and make proposal to it for initiative to put an end to such situation and where necessary to express an opinion on the action of government in response to such violation. And Article 3A of the Act says to inquire.
He's the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, speaking Tuesday during the press conference in Monrovia. The Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia has announced the completion and publication of the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. Speaking during the release of the report Tuesday in Congo Town, FIU Director General Edwin Harris stated that the report is the first of its kind in Liberia and is poised to provide stakeholders on the risks Liberia faces with money laundering and terrorist financing. He added that the major outcomes of the National Risk Assessment portray Liberia's money laundering risks as high in the financial sector and the designated non-financial business professionals.
Unit of Liberia announces the completion and subsequent publication of the National Risk Assessment Report, the NRA, on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. The completed National Risk Assessment Report is the first of its kind in Liberia and is poised to provide stakeholders in the world on the risks Liberia faces when it comes to money laundering financing. The major outcomes of the NRA portray Liberia's money laundering risks as high in the financial sector as well as the designated non-financial business and professionals, DNFBPs. Additionally, the National Risk Assessment Report also revealed partners in October 2021. Financial institutions and designated non-financial business professionals will be required to use a National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing as a guide in mitigating the risks to money laundering in their respective sectors. The Liberia Working Group on the second round of mutual evaluation will host series of activities to include focus group discussion, town hall meetings, and outreach to all stakeholders in the anti-money laundering and countering terrorist financing regime in Liberia.
At the same time, the FIU head stated that as mandated under recommendation one of the Financial Action Task Force, 300 copies of the National Risk Assessment Report will be distributed to all stakeholders and partners in October. According to Director General Harris, the financial institutions and designated non-financial business professionals will be required to use the National Risk Assessment Report as a guide to mitigate the risks to money laundering in their respective sectors.
National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing can be downloaded on key websites in the country to include the Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia website, the Central Bank of Liberia, the Liberia Revenue Authority, the Executive Mansion, E-Mansion website, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Liberia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, LEITI, the General Auditing Commission, amongst other websites in the country. I want to call on all stakeholders to take the time to read the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and exercise all care in mitigating the risks. It is not a good thing that our risk is high when it comes to money laundering. However, there's an opportunity or window for us to earnestly work towards mitigating the risks. This is why the Financial Intelligence Unit under my leadership will work and put in every effort in mitigating the risks to money laundering and terrorist financing. In as much as our terrorist financing risks are very low, there are vulnerabilities that could exist, especially in the non-for-profit entities. The Financial Intelligence Unit will also carry on a survey and risk assessment in 3 sectors effective October 2021. Those sectors include non-for-profit organizations, dealerships, and also we will conduct a mini risk assessment in proliferation of the weapon of mass destruction in Liberia.
He's the Director General of the Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia, Edwin Harris, speaking Tuesday during the release of the completion and publication of the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. At this juncture, with half an hour gone into the news, it is about time we bring his sports, and Gerard Morris is seated at the sports desk to bring us the passion. Good evening, Gerard.
Good evening, Jeff. Good evening, Liberia. Montserrat Sub Association has created a new schedule for the FIFA Connect training for clubs that are in the Community League for the upcoming 2021-2022 season. The Secretary General of the Montserrat Sub Association, George T. Elliott, announced on Monday, September 27, 2021, that training with Community League clubs that due to the failure of the system administration to approve the huge number of participants in the test system in the short period of time, a new schedule will be created to amicably handle the training process. Montserrat Sub Association said it will host 4 subcommittees per day, with each subcommittee using 1 hour 30 minutes to go through their training. According to Mr. Elliott, the first 30 minutes will be used for creating clubs' accounts and approving their representative. He said that only clubs that were posted on the Montserrat Sub Association Facebook page will form part of the training for the first 2 days. Montserrat Sub Association Secretary General maintains that only community league clubs from the scheduled committees that are active in the FIFA Connect system are to attend the training on Wednesday and Thursday of September 29 and 30 respectively. Meanwhile, the remaining 6 committees will be scheduled for Saturday, October 1st, 2021. Away from Liberia, UEFA has halted disciplinary action against Barcelona, Juventus, and Real Madrid over their involvement in the proposed European Super League. The club were among the 12 founding members of the Breakaway League, which later collapsed. The trio who have refused to renounce the project were being investigated for a potential violation of UEFA legal framework. European champions Italy will face Copa America winner Argentina next June. UEFA European Football Governing Body said agreement had been reached to play 3 editions of intercontinental match. UEFA said the exact date and venue for the match will still be confirmed, but Nepal is reportedly a contender. A game between the continental champions is the latest step in closer cooperation between UEFA and its South American equivalent, CONMEBOL. And that's it for the sports.
Many thanks. Many thanks to Gerard Morris for reading us the passion. And just in continuation of this post, the UEFA Champions League has resumed with a couple of games playing right now as we speak. A couple of minutes ago, Manchester City was 1-0 down to PSG. Other matches are also on the way in the UEFA Champions League. Let's continue with more developments. Montserrat County District 12-2 Representative Jimmy Smith has pledged to provide scholarships to over 100 persons who desire to seek vocational training at the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School in the district. President Smith made the disclosure when he served as chief launcher of the Golden Gate or Age Impact Liberia Vocational School launching program over the weekend in Pingsville. He revealed that every citizen residing in the district wishing to attend the vocational school will now pay only $20 for 6 months intensive training, while he will pay the remaining fees.
And let me surprise our opponents again today. While we maintain the highest record at NVC, the highest vocational technical institute in this republic, as being the scholarship provider, the highest, your representatives, we will prove this again here in our own provider. But I was thinking again, for me, when it comes to human potential, then this is where my motivation comes from. And I want to do my utmost once it comes to human beings. That $20 is fairly reasonable. Many of us that want to learn can find that $20 and do the registration and get your free education. But what about those that cannot afford that $20? Do they live in our district? I think so. What do we do with them? We cannot leave them behind. So in the secondary package, since we have 8 wards in the district, I will now obligate my office based on the community leader that will say this family can't afford $20. You hear me clearly? I don't want to be abused. I'm not a money man to say money man. I told you already there are people with money more than me in the district. But what you're doing, you can't smell a lot of money. So I want to put a little protection there so it doesn't be abused. Then tomorrow you say, Jimmy Smith said, so you can't do it. I would never say something I can't keep. So for those who cannot afford the $20, the ward leadership will transmit this to the committee that I have on education in my office, that this family cannot afford this $20, then we will afford that for that person. We want to share it equally. Each ward can do 20% for that purpose to be able to beef up the 20 times 8. Right here today.
Meanwhile, the founder of the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School, Clarence Bondo, has called on Liberians to take advantage of the opportunities at the institution.
Based on our thought, based on our thinking faculty, look at how can we reduce the unemployment, how can we reduce the poverty, how can we reduce the unskilled laborers. We came up with a school called the Golden Age Impact Liberia that will transform life. that once people come into a enroll, their lives will be affected, that they are to learn. The unskilled laborers are to be skilled. Those who are unemployed will be employed. Based on that, the poverty rate in the country will decrease. Now, those are the testimonies you see over there. We have affected lives, and those who are lives are affected right now going to affect 1,000. So based on this, we open the school out of love, out of passion, out of humility, like I said. Now, looking at the aspect of reducing the poverty, looking at the aspect of reducing the unskilled laborers. People now who are pastry for the short period of time know how to bake bread on their own, know how to make money on their own. At the end result,
Is the founder of the Golden Age Impact Liberia Vocational School, Clarence Bonder. Earlier, you listened to the district representative, Jimmy Smith, pledging his support to students who are financially incapacitated to help them enroll at the vocational institution. Still ahead of the news is the foreign development. These will set the pace as we await Esther to read us the foreign development. Residents of Rock Culture Community on the Pipeline Road are reportedly living in fear based on the constant attack by armed robbers on the community in District 3, Montserrat County. According to the chairperson of the newly constituted WASH team, Daniel George, the decision was reached by residents dwellers that due to recent attack by armed gang, leaving one community dweller wounded and making their way with several valuables. Daniel George further narrated that the list of members on the committee of the WASH team was approved by elders Nikon Doe and Samuel Johnson of the Pipeline community and submitted to the Zunan Depot on the Pipeline Road.
Thank you very much. I deem it necessary that the community watch team will help to portray the effort of the police because the police are now all over, and when they're causing a problem in the various community and watching there, they will first of all go there and see how best they can try to put things under control until they can inform the police or PSU before PSU come around. Then they are going there and start putting things under control. So for this reason, the armed robbers and criminals will be afraid of going to our community. So yes, they are really living in fear. That's why we calling upon a representative so that he can give a help to them so that the community.
The representative in question was self-copied of this document in question.
The copy of the document is already in progress and pretty soon we'll be carrying it to our representative. But now presently the document, we have copy to the police stations, Portland Depot, we have copy to Chekotan Depot, and now the other copy is here for our representative. We'll be presenting it to him tomorrow in office.
He's the chairperson of the newly constituted WASH team in the Rock Culture Community in Pipeline, speaking with our correspondent, Aliyu Sharif. A Liberian businessman of Macquarie clan, Eddie Marlin, says he's doing everything in his reach to ensure that the clinic built by him is open to the public in rural Montserrat. According to Marlin, over 2,000 residents of the clan are struggling to seek medication in Macquarie clan and its environs, but they find it difficult due to lack of medical services in the area. He is meanwhile appealing to Montserrat County District 1 Representative Lawrence Morris in the Ministry of Health to help provide drug for his facility.
Yes, basically, like I told you, I told some people, I talk people all the time, we live in an area that there is no leadership. We have 7 clans within the electrical district 1. All of those places have clan chiefs, and what have you. But when it comes to Macquarie, there is no clan chief in Macquarie.
Why no clan chief?
As I went, what I gathered from them was they were appointed, the hierarchy, which is the climate chief and the superintendent, appointed someone from the community, which the community they are saying they don't want to work along with our persons. Then the community, after the appointment, the community, the individuals may have been placed on the payroll. He have been denied of that. The people say they don't want. He's not the one that's supposed to. They should have come back to the community to ask who to work alone. So the elders and the elder, the youth wing, the community, they are saying no, they don't want to work along with the person. So I want to then, I contacted them. So how can we do this? Because we cannot live in an environment that there is no leadership. If something happened to all, who do we get to? Other people can just come from any community, just see a lot of security. People, what they want to do, they just do it because they say that we don't have the leadership. So this is our focus now that we are doing the superintendent should come to Marquette and settle this committee. We want to know who is our leader. If the people are saying they cannot work with this settle, then you can find plan B to that. Because you're discussing human and you need to get the article representation. So
He's a Liberian businessman Eddie Manin of Mako Clan in Toli District, speaking with our correspondent Ali Sherry. More of that development will follow up in our subsequent newscast. At this juncture, we rejoin Esther Daku to read us the foreign development.
World Health Organization staff was among 83 aid workers who sexually abused women and girls while tackling the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a report finds. The abuses, which included 9 allegations of rape, were committed by both national and international workers between 2018 and 2019. But the report comes after more than 50 local women reported sexual abuse. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said it was inexcusable. The 35-page report was produced by an independent commission following an investigation. The commission, which interviewed dozens of women who had alleged they were offended by workers they were offered work in exchange of sex, found that 21 of the 83 alleged perpetrators were employed by the World Health Organization. Local women who also alleged plight with drinks ambushed in hospitals, forced to have sex, and 2 became pregnant. The World Health Organization said it was terminating the contracts of 4 people who were still employed by the organization and promised more measures will be taken. And that's the chief of the foreign development. Is back to you.
Esther Daku and the foreign development, she's taking us home on this Tuesday, September 28, 2021 presentation of Freedom News Basket. It's been a joint presentation of the News and Current Affairs Department here at FCI. These are top developments we followed tonight. President George Weah authorizes loan repayment reprieve for red-light marketeers in continuation of his progressive policies intended to improve the well-being of marketeers and the entire citizenry. Financial Intelligence Unit of Liberia releases findings on the National Risk Assessment Report on money laundering and terrorist financing in Liberia. Independent National Commission on Human Rights reacts to Liberia's Solicitor General Serenius Cephas claims that the Commission's recent press statement targeted officials of government away from home. World Health Organization staff among 83 aid workers who sexually abused women and girls while tackling the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a report finds. Many thanks to our contributors, correspondents, reporters, editorial team, and who helped make this presentation of Freedom News Basket sources. Thanks to Esther Daco, who read us the news bulletin and the foreign development. Gerald Morris fathered the Passion of Lies post. The invitation is yours to join us tomorrow morning at 6 for Freedom News Insight, and our news magazine program dedicated to bringing you all of the happiness in Liberia and elsewhere. Thanks to DJ Marvis, who sat at control, able coordinated the sound system. Dual Cruiser sat behind the camera. Thanks for viewing. Keep following us online on www.freedomradioliberia.com. On behalf of the team, my name is Jeff Jefferson. Thanks for listening. Good evening from Morovia.